maa ngi baax ni ma mel nii.
Yeah, you're live now. Hello, everyone. Sorry for the lateness due to technical issues and some personal issues, and I'm sorry Ensa would not be with us today because of due to family issues. But notwithstanding, we've got Coach Ibi Jallo, who you all would be familiar with. Um, Former under 17 and under 20 coach, who's coach at the top level. We will be talking to him, and Baba will be joining us later in terms of delving into matters at hand. Um, Welcome to the Citizens Network Gambia. And today we just want to delve into obviously the news that's been break in the Gambia that Jonathan McKINSTRY is the new head coach of the Gambia national team and is taking over from Tom Seinfeld. Um, Coach, 80 to 90 candidates, that's what was mentioned. And that was according to the BBC Sports Africa. And then obviously from the information that we got ourselves, 80 to 90 candidates, and this included some high profile names like Kolo Toure, former Ivory Coast, Arsenal centre back, and then Sol Campbell, also former England international and Arsenal and Tottenham centre back. Now this was shortlisted to the last three, and then to the final one, who was Jonathan McKinstry, who came up trumps. Now, what do you make of the whole process from the application having 90 candidates for a vacancy of the Gambia national team, for having 90 candidates applying, and what do you make of the whole process from the application to the interview, to the final shortlist?
Good evening, viewers, and good morning to other places where some of our viewers might be in the Pacific, some in America, Australia, wherever they might be. And thank you for having me again, more after a long break from Citizen Network Gambia. Yes, I am happy to be back here again. Yeah, nothing is a strange situation on when it comes to the number of applicants for the position. As we know, there are too many qualified coaches, and there's only little availability of position of a head coach or a manager going around at the moment in world football. So there's nothing surprising there, and there are other African countries that have well over 150 applicants for one position. Some countries have far more than that. Yes, so there's nothing surprising on that aspect. Yes. Mhm. I can't hear you.
No, in terms of what I actually mean is in terms of the transparency, was it transparent enough
Um,
from from the start to the finish. Normally, you'd expect them to feed the information to the public, to tell them, okay, this is what the stage is. This is where we are at the moment. Was it transparent enough for you?
No, 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 no. I'm far from it. To be honest, I'm far, 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 far from it. I think it's just sad what has been happening with Gambian football for a while now, and I think and I would be brave and confident enough to say that some of the Gambian football authorities have um, treat Gambian football fans and stakeholders um, with content. Um, why I'm saying that, I'm not accusing them for anything that they haven't done, because the Gambian public, football loving public, should have known the full list um, who applied for the position, how the procedure, the criteria they use to trim it, because when I look at the criteria they set out, I think personally, going through it, I've found the English wording of it a little bit mad crazy, if I could say, because I don't think they follow through on it, because they said they wanted a coach who have at least minimum 5 to 10 years international football coaching, and he or she will have coach at the highest level elite teams. We are not talking of clubs, and people should understand the difference between a team and a club. A team mean national, club mean clubs, football teams, clubs, sorry. So, and I have nothing against the new coach who's supposed to sign his contract from the 1st of coming June, which is in over just a little bit over a week to come. But I want to see what elite national team he have coached. I'm only basing this on the criteria that the federation set out, the Gambia Football Federation set out. They said elite teams. That's the criteria they set. So where is the elite? Are you telling me Uganda and Sierra Leone are elite? Is that the standard the Gambia set for themselves? So this is what I'm saying. I'm not criticizing the coach. I have no right to criticize him. I'm not saying he's not qualified, but I'm just going by the language that is being used on the criteria they set. Okay, that 5 to 10 years understanding African football and all that stuff. I found that also very, very crazy, because we all know African football, every region have their own way of playing football. Understanding Southern Africa, understanding Eastern Africa, understanding Central Africa is completely different from understanding Western Africa. So I don't understand what they mean by that, by putting that criteria. So there's so many things after going through the list of criteria. They said there's so many things that I found there that it doesn't align with the way they shortlist these candidates, and there was no transparency. And from what I understand from an insider within the technical committee, the amount of people who were involved in that technical committee is way too much, and it ended up bringing so much confusion in there, because you don't need like 10 people to be on a technical committee. A small country like the Gambia, you don't need that. All you need is people who swear allegiance to the Gambia and to do justice and follow and serve the interests of the Gambia. No one should be in that committee who will serve their own selfish interests or their whoever controllers are interests. The interest that they have to serve is the interest of the nation. So when you have people who have that at the back of their mind, you might need 3 people, you might need 5 people, you might need 7 people maximum, nothing more than that, to sit on a panel and scrutinize all the applications, and they update the public. We had this number of applicants, this person and that person, and this is the criteria we follow to whit it down all the way from that number that we initially have to this number. Then from that number to a lower number, from that lower number to the 3-man shortlist or to a 2-man shortlist. And finally, we decided to choose this person because this person fit our criteria that we are looking for a coach to take us to the next level. But we have no information on all these things, and this is why I said they treat us with contempt, because they feel that they can sit there and do whatever they want to do, and they are not answerable. Nobody can challenge them, and this is what they've been doing, and they've been getting away with it.
Yeah. With regards to obviously the selection as well, there was a big mention, from some parts of football fraternity that we needed a Gambian coach, like our neighbor Senegal. From the list of obviously you being a coach and holding a UEFA Pro license, which may be just one criteria. From the Gambian coaches around, do you genuinely think there was a candidate that was capable of taking up the job?
Mo, this is it's not tricky, but it's a sensitive one, because I always say this. I am a straight talking someone. I don't beat around the bush. I just say how I feel. I don't set out myself intentionally to upset people or to hurt people's feelings, but I just say how it is. I think genuinely, hand on heart, genuinely, I don't think we are set up for that at the minute. The reason being I said that is because the criteria that the federation set us, they said 5 to 10 years international coaching experience and coaching elite football teams, not football clubs, football teams. That means national teams. Okay. UEFA Pro license is one of the criteria. But if you look at it properly on the paper that the federation set out, they did not specifically just mention UEFA Pro license. They said CAF A license or UEFA A license or UEFA Pro license or equivalent. Why do they have to use that term or? When specifically for national team coaches in Africa now, you want an equivalent of a UEFA Pro license, which is the CAF. We don't have CAF Pro license. We have CAF A license. Just state there clearly, you don't want UEFA A license. What you want is UEFA Pro license and CAF A license. Not or, but and. That is also another grammatical mistake that they have in the criteria. Okay, we had many Gambian coaches now who have that, including myself, T-Boy, as far as I know, Idrissa Sonko, as far as I know, Matar Mboj is working on his at the moment. And I don't think it's also a rush. It is not a sprint to get your pro license, because if you are in Europe, you're working in European clubs, they always want you to do your apprenticeship. They always want you to do the coaching, be the student of the game. Then you understand the game. Then you have the knowledge, the know-how, because the game is evolving every day. Then eventually you go, because personally, I haven't played professional football. I've never played. So I was not privileged like the other lads like T-Boy and Idrissa, because the criteria in Europe, if you play professional football, you don't have to start in level 1, level 2 coaching. You can go straight to UEFA B license, then UEFA A license, then your pro license. So I have to go from level 1, level 2, level 3, UEFA B license, UEFA A license, UEFA Pro license. So I have to go through all these categories stage by stage. But they always encourage you to do your apprenticeship, always to carry on working with a club, or if you have a national team. But most of the time, they advise you to work with a club which is a day-to-day running. It's more, you are more involved than if you are working with the national team, right? So Abdou Jami, I know him very well. T-Boy, we know each other because I've coached him during my days when with Latjor. He was a young player. He came on a loan from Big Steve, because not only him, but few of them. There was a guy called Makan, Bulai, Bulli, lots of them. And I've worked with him again when I was coaching the Bakau zonal team. And he is among the few players that I said he is one of the most respected people I've ever worked with. He is so down to earth. It's just unbelievable. He is so down to earth, if anything, and he's a student of the game. But personally, if I was to talk to him, if I knew he was going to apply for the national team, Gambia national team job, I said, yes, I know you are a proud Gambian. You want to serve the Gambia. But at the moment, I would have advised him to take a step back and get himself into more active coaching, get his more experience. Now he got his qualification, get himself more experience working. If that means going to other African countries, look for a job. If that means staying in Europe here, looking for another job, and engage himself into coaching to another level, develop himself, because that's the only way he could get what he wants. Then eventually he don't have to be applying for the job. The Gambia will come looking for him. That would have been my advice to him. But nevertheless, he is a proud Gambian, and he's seen so many things going wrong in Gambian football, and he is confident enough he can play a part in solving that problem. And fair play to him, because not many Gambians are brave enough to throw themselves on that line, but he is willing to do that, and I have so much respect for that, for him trying to do that. But if he should have consulted with me, I would just advise him to just try better himself first in his career, and take it step by step and watch, because Tom have set a high bar. Any coach that come there, even whether Gambians like Tom or they don't like Tom, he have set a high bar. Any coach that comes there and perform below that bar, you will be crucified. And with the Gambian attitude, with my experience working for the Gambia, they give respect more to the foreign coach than the Gambian coach. So, and I don't wish it to any Gambian coach going out there. You don't have to be afraid of failure, because coaching comes with failure. You don't have to be afraid of being sacked or whatever, because you learn from it and stuff like that. It's all positive. It's all good. But as a young coach, someone like Abdou Jame, T-Boy, don't want his career to start in a way whereby it will be surrounded by so many negativity and all that stuff. Look, Lai Bojang did extremely well with the U20 in the Africa juniors, went to the World Cup, did well. But when he went to Ghana recently and he didn't do well, they're trying to crucify him. The Gambian people have already, majority, not all of them, but majority, I will not say even the minority, have forgot what Lai have already done just under a year. So this is something that our coaches have to put into consideration. I mean, and just try and better themselves a little bit, give yourself more coaching experience, take more responsibility and task with clubs and national teams, different places, learn and be the student of the game, and eventually you will be equipped properly to handle anything that is thrown on you. I mean, but he knows himself better. If Abdou Jame thinks he is ready, and I think he is ready, that's why he put himself forward into the application. Nobody should doubt him, because I've worked with him when he was playing. I coached him in Latjor. He came on a loan for a whole season from Biko to Latjor, and I know his qualities. I know how dedicated and committed being a player. And when he become a coach again for the U23, I spoke with him a couple of times over the phone, and I've seen his passion that he have when he was playing is the same passion that he have, and he have collected so much experience in his playing days anyway, because he have traveled right around the world, playing for many clubs, playing under different managers, so he got so much experience. But my advice still would be for him to take up more of an active coaching job with a professional club, whether being an assistant manager there or being a trainer, or end up being a full-time manager in that club. Just work himself up on the ladder, be the student of the game all the way, steadily, all the way. Then he'll be equipped properly to deal with whatever is thrown at him. Yeah.
I know Baba will agree to disagree. So, Baba, welcome.
Yeah, hi, I can't make a mind read. You're reading my mind.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
would
yeah.
disagree with EB.
I would, you just say hi,
Yeah,
and then I'll come to you
yeah.
with the question.
Guy,
Say hi.
I would disagree. I would disagree with EB. Obviously, you're
Yeah.
reading my mind. But yeah,
So,
it is what it is. Mamobe
yeah.
Kontona, right? I'm saying hello to everyone. I'm sorry I'm late, but yeah.
Nice. Okay. So obviously, Baba, you've been making the rounds on social media, whether the wrong reason or right reason, or whether it's just a controversial statement that you made regarding T-Boy. We're actually talking about having Gambian coaches coaching the Gambia instead of foreign coaches, just like our neighbor Senegal. Obviously, coach has said his perspective, and his perspective is a bit more, the lack of the experience, the lack of the need for them to go and better themselves more because of, the expectation in the Gambia now is so high. Like with what he said with Tom Sanford, he's qualified us not to the AFCON alone, but back to back and on to the quarterfinals as well. So for any Gambian coach, the basis for any success would be at least a qualification. But you've got T-Boy here who is not very experienced at that level. Why do you think T-Boy deserve to be to be on in that role?
I mean, for me personally, like EB is saying, he knows T-Boy. Number one, he's disciplined. Number two, he's down to earth. And number three, he got respect for everyone. By that being the case, Lolo Munuko approve it. That doesn't mean he has to be the coach. But EB went through all these coaching courses. He know how it is. And T-Boy went through from B licensing upwards to pro. For me personally, I think that experience wise, when EB is saying that he has to go and get experience. If our own people are not giving him to get experience, where else do you think he's gonna get experience from? Who is gonna give him chance to get experience? Because yes, he got all his license, he got all his certificates and everything. I mean, would you think the head coach now is from Ireland? T-Boy cannot get a head coach team in Ireland. It doesn't matter. He got license, he got A license, he got Mami A license. Ireland will never take their national team and give it to T-Boy, even their U17 or U15. So for me, the experience comes along the way. Okay, yes, he need experience, but we need to put him in the team to get experience as well. I don't mind him working together with this head coach. He been the assistant, go along and do it. But for us, driving him out to go and pick experience. How about if we go and pick experience and then he's stuck muchang fufu because they're offering him good because they know that he's doing well in any country that he gone. You think we will have him back? So now we're gonna lose the only pro holder in the whole Gambia. Lose that because if T-Boy, let's say for example, he went to Cameroon or Burkina Faso or Mauritania and stuff, and they gave him under 23 or under 20. And they feel that T-Boy is good. Team, national team. So now we're losing T-Boy. So all the other coaches, are they ready to take that step to learn, to get that educated to A or A plus pro? Our coaches are ready to do that. So we're going to lose him because we feel that we as Gambians or him as Gambians, he's done all these courses, he's done all these classes, he's done all this education, he put his money into it. And then it's disappointing for us to be telling him go somewhere else and look for experience and then come back to us. You think then he's going to come back when he pick every experience along the way? People that gave him chance, he'll be loyal to them. He'll be like, it doesn't matter, yes, he's Gambian and stuff. But I definitely know him, Mom, T-Boy, if Gambia asks him to come and be assistant coach of this coach and work under him to gain experience, man, I will accept that. But if we have to chase him away to go pick experience anywhere else, now experience will pick like he's not coming back. If he get experience somewhere else, he's not gonna work because what happened is, okay, Alkamin for set his bar. If he also set his bar higher up in anywhere he was working, if he works in, let's say, Mauritania, Burkina Faso or Guinea-Bissau or wherever, and he set his bar higher up, you think that we can afford him? Because even for this coach, when he was applied, he applied with a lot of proper good coaches, Alonko. Finland sent assistant coach. We moved for the third assistant coach was part of it. The another guy, he was a top head coach, was part of it. But it's because coach cannot afford no EB. We cannot afford, so we only go for our pocket, and our pocket can only get us average coaches. Malam understand it. We cannot go get tough coaches. Okay, for EB, if this lad went outside and then get this coaching thingy and then get a team and then set his bar high, you think we can afford him? We cannot afford him because he's not gonna go all that level up and then once we want him to come down to how to call it again, to work for us. So for me, Allah experience, it's fine. I don't mind it. But let him work under this coach. Later on, if this coach's 2 years contract is finished, then we know that Abdul is ready. We put Abdul there. Then Nim Federation of Form Media, they'll be gone. Abdul Munyo, Muneka head coach, will be in the Nyom airlines in holders. Nyom Idrissa Sonko, all these airlines in holder to come and join him. And then by then, yes, we can go. Set the bar high of Gambian football. Yes, I understand. But so you say what we have done there, it doesn't mean anything for me. Yes, first time we went for the quarterfinal, but the second time we 0.0 points. So it's not that, high expectation no from the Gambia. It is. I know that yes, we've tried, we moved to a different level, but it's not like like Aliou Cisse did. Went to African Cup of Nations, went to finals, went to World Cup every year and all these things. Yes, you can say Senegal, the bar is more than high. And the coach that is going, yeah. But us, it's just average. It's just normal for me, personally. More way of thinking sort of. But what I wanted to say is, if we want to lose T-Boy, or we losing T-Boy, then it's not even telling well for the junior coaches that are coming in Gambia. We're not encouraging all these kids, because if we have all these coaches in Gambia trying to get to this level to go and do their coaching and everything, obviously, who coach you want to be to coach Gambia. So if these kids are seeing, okay, Gambia, I'm in that system of bringing our own, yeah, it's not gonna happen. When EB was taking the U17 and stuff, ask him. Probably he might have C or D license. He's not having that top license holders, and they trust him. He was part of the U17 and all this thing. When he was having Baka United, the same thing. Probably he's having all the C license. But along the way, he picked a lot of experience, and he become national team coach because he alone londo no anaka minke. So man, that is my problem for me. I think that it's high time now we start trusting our own people to bring them in and blend them. Because what we are doing, these people wouldn't do it. Dumala Bakela. And everywhere else that we are chasing T-Boy to go to, Ivorian took their own people, Senegal took their own people, Cameroon took their own people. I can go on and on and on. Everybody, even England took Southgate, is English. Mobe Nila Molo, Mobe Teya, La Abudu Waramata Abudu. So I guess it's high time for us to do the same. I'm not saying yes, all experiment for is fine, but for me personally, I think that a high level of education to go and do a pro guy is ready. I'm not saying in the national team that everybody got your own opinion, but he can work with this lad, this new coach, and he be in the assistant. 2 years old, 2 years old, and I mean, all experience of also thought I can head team coach. That one I will agree. But chasing our own people to go look, I look like Muntoldo, okay, say leg, can more coaching. Who else is gonna employ him? If we not employing him, who else? Because anywhere else he goes in the world, they consider their own people first. They will consider their own people first. And then where else? All after I try experience when where. So I'm not saying we can go and give him this head team, the coaching for him to go, but we ourselves need a chance for and experience. We ourselves need to do that. For me, that's what I think. Ourselves need to give him that experience to pick it along the way. If he goes and pick it somewhere else and lift his bar high up, Atinamurna no Gambia.
But Baba, I think what coach is not saying that he shouldn't be given the opportunity, from my own understanding. But what I'm saying is, he's just maybe I will allow coach to come in at some point. But what what he probably is saying is, if you look at Idrissa Sonko, he's been working with top other teams, and that's the sort of example he's on about. Not chasing him away, technically, it's literally allowing him to go and find jobs in. Like exactly what Idrissa is doing, and the other guy in Denmark, what's the name again? Matar. Those sort of examples. But continue.
But do you know that T-Boy is still with a team? He's still with a team in Finland. It's not a high level team or coming in the world, but team or mean coach and all these things. But he's still with a team. And I agree, he should be in part of a team to gain experience and stuff. I agree on that. But when it comes to a national team level, at least we could have him to be an assistant to get an experience.
And it seems you're lowering your expectations down now. You wanted him coach now.
No, yes, I want him to be, for me, I want him to be a head coach.
Yeah.
But with Gambia, obviously, they've took this guy. So what I assistant because already they've appointed this guy, so he can only be assistant. But imagine if if we are taking Alaji to be an assistant coach, Alaji Sar, sorry, to be an assistant coach, then we can Nsatibo Etano. Alaji Sar has been an assistant coach with Tom for how many years? For so many years. And Mbebo Kumboka and Mbebo Kraikane, because it's not right, it's wrong. Because Alaji Sar have got nothing, no experience, nothing, no Gambia lo C and D lines in the Bible. Or Mila Alonko never time team for in Senegal. You cannot coach it with C and D. Nina Tada Senegal, no time team of it coach no. Adanta coming Adanta Gambia. I'm not even foot up Basafon. Adanta
He's one of the most successful coaches in Gambia.
What you mean one success? Yeah, but even though I can a successful coach be, I boy a hardjele bala to be a coach, a better coach. And I said yo it ka for mole go Zulen. I can ban coach han ibi for buko fala triple man Zulen. It man fenso de kun kono boy it ka for mole go man Zulen. So if a coach turns to you, you cannot even as an assistant, you cannot even operate on computer like a tablet.
Okay.
But in that, what I think is let them attach him to this guy, be an assistant, and when this guy is gone, sorry for my language, and then we can.
You've not saying anything wrong. It's you're just saying your opinion.
If he's gone, then Nana Nongol be na fenang. Hana the EB from old be nyanta kanana ne. Everybody have to come because now. Because let me tell you something. Because now everyone is taking your own people. Every single nation is taking their own people because hey, Nongol Faran Karantal di. Before Malafi Karamala, we are not educated before. But now more baby Jengu can boy, Yeah.
All right. Do you have anything to say on that?
Yes. I have to rectify a little bit of thing because I think Baba is going with a little bit emotions, and I understand why he is going with the emotions and because he's been a Pan-Africanist and stuff like that. But what I said, Baba, is we did not talk about the position of the assistant coach. The question that was put to me before you came in, the criteria that the federation, the sporting director of the Gambia, who is Mr. Sangdong, and his committee, the criteria they set, that's the first thing I analyze and finish with it. With the criteria alone, if we want to be honest to each other, T-Boy cannot be there. That's the truth. With the criteria that Sangdong, 5 to 10 years, international coaching, elite national teams. That's number one. Okay, number two question was never assistant coach position. It was about the head coach. And I never suggested, even for 1 minute, that T-Boy should go away. What I was trying to do is T-Boy don't need my protection. He can protect himself. I have so much confidence and respect in him. But knowing exactly the position he's looking for, where I have been before myself, knowing everything that is going surrounding that place, what I suggested is, if now they did not talk about the assistant position, they never spoke about it. The whole position is the national team, and now T-Boy, unfortunately, he missed out, and they give it to this guy. So now, what is the alternative for him? That's where I came in with my ideas to recommend to him what he need to do. Then next time, he will not do the application. Instead, the Gambia will be the ones chasing him rather than him chasing the Gambia. That is what I was trying to explain. I am not, because if nobody gives you the chance, you will never have experience. I'm a firm believer of that. But I also believe that we have to be the student of the game. It's not the end of the world. I will not give name here, but last week, I was speaking with 2 executive members of the Gambia Football Federation, because maybe you already know that. Maybe I'm not following up to that, but since 2016, they approached me with an official letter, which I have, which maybe you have seen or not, but Mo is having a copy of it, for me to be a scout for them, international ambassador scout. I was doing it for them, but after I realized that all the time I'm wasting with resources, scouting and filing dossier of statistics and records, sending it to them. They are not acting on it. They're picking players based on what they want to, whom they want to pick. I feel I'm wasting my time putting up a data for them, sending it, and they are not acting on it. So they're just picking. So I just stopped. But last week I spoke to 2 executive members, and my suggestion to them is, have you had a meeting with the ministry about the technical backup for this coach? Because that is one thing that have come short in the Tom's era. And they told me no. And I said, you guys have set up this coach for failure again. And they said, what would be your suggestion? And I said, my suggestion, you would have talked to Idrissa Sonko and Abdou Jame in private, convince them to come and be the number 1 and number 2 behind this coach. Prepare them for the future of the Gambia. I said, because I am not sure about Matar Mboj. Why I said that? Because I don't know him personally. I've never spoken to him. But because his experience with you people, this is my response directly to the Federation when they spoke to me, 2 of their executive members last week. I said, because you did not end well with him, I don't think his experience was good with you guys. I don't think he will sacrifice the job he have right now where he's building himself to come back without you people bending down and adhering to his terms and conditions. And knowing you people, you are too proud of yourselves. You are not looking at the interest. This is me speaking, because everyone who knows me knows that I don't sugarcoat things. I say it how it is. This is my honest advice to them. And I recommended Abdou Jame and Idrissa Sonko for them to approach them and speak with them privately and convince them to take up the job of the assistant coach. But they have to talk to the ministry to also make an equal, decent packages, salary packages and incentives for them, to encourage them to take up the job. And then they need an other goalkeeper trainer who is highly qualified to help develop. They need a fitness trainer who is highly qualified to help monitor the fitness and the injuries of the players. They need a highly qualified physiotherapy, 2 of them, and they need 1 team doctor. And they need 2 kids people. I make all this suggestion to them. So, but unfortunately, this assistant coach position, I was never asked when Mo asked the question. And the Federation never advertised a position of assistant coach. From my knowledge, what I have right now is they want to maintain the same setup. But that is not me to break that news or announce that. This is just a conversation. That's why I say I'm not going to mention any of their names, because it's confidential conversation. But from what I understand, they want to maintain the same setup that was there with Tom. And I said, you are setting this coach for failure. So for knowing that from an insight point, so my advice only to T-Boy is for him to do something to get himself to where they will be chasing him rather than him putting up his application, because there is no possibility at the moment. I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but at the moment, there is no possibility of a position of an assistant coach. That's where I'm coming from, so that we have that understanding clear.
Okay. All right, Coach. No worries. We've got only an hour today. So moving on, obviously, there are differences in opinion, but I think it's similar to what you all are saying. So, now it's Jonathan McKINSTRY. He's been in the game for, nearly 23 years now. He's still young at 38. He's managed Uganda and then won their type of WAFU competition. I don't know, CAF or whatever it's called. He's managed Sierra Leone. He's managed Rwanda as well. But the one that was more notable is the one in Sierra Leone, and this was during the time of the Ebola outbreak. I don't know whether some of you would remember, but and he managed to raise them. I know this FIFA ranking again, but it's important. He managed to raise them to the rank of 7th in Africa, and then nearly 50 in the world, which was called remarkable by FIFA. Now, but with all these things, he has to go through a lot of difficulties. Currently, just before he was appointed, he was managing Gor Mahia or whatever, a Kenyan Premier League, who were also in difficult circumstances, and he ended up winning 2 trophies with them, Premier League titles for them in a row. Is that a good thing, Baba? Would you look at that and think, okay, he is one of those coaches, knowing fully well Gambia is synonymous to difficulties. We've always had difficult circumstances surrounding our national team. So if you have someone who's worked in this kind of environment and ended up coming on to us, do you think it is a good omen? Is it something good, a good quality, or what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, EB was saying a very good point. Like, if they want to do what exactly they were doing with Tom, then it's going to be the same. It's going to be a failure, a total failure. Because, but I don't think that in Kojo he will accept that, because if he have to put Alaji Sar to be his assistant coach, then we're going back to the same routine as what Tom did. So if he's a good and a better coach, I don't think that he's going to go to that side of things to listen to them, because
But
it's
but
a
Baba, sorry,
it's
Baba, but
yeah.
from what I've dig deep, he seems to be one who's always, like, from his own words, he liked to accept a challenge and then prove people wrong. And
Yeah,
then from these clubs that I told you, like Uganda was a difficult one, Rwanda, okay, but then this Gor Mahia, where a club in with restricted play, they were not allowed to buy players, and he was having to depend on academy players, and he had to build a team. So, do you genuinely think that he wouldn't accept this, or he would just,
that's what I mean. I don't think he will accept that. I don't think he's gonna let the federation to decide for him. No, I don't think he will accept that. And then um any coach that comes to coach Gambia, you will always have issues. You will always have problem, because until the federation, as long as this federation is concerned, as long as this federation is still in charge, it's always gonna be an issue, because they will never give you what you want. Okay, and all this Alaji Sar thing, it's because the federation are forcing it to him, or the federation always wants to, and it's not all of them. It's only Sang Ibufai wants Alaji Sila there in the team. So we need a proper technicians to be in the bench. EBRB for Jane. We need proper physios. We need proper doctors. We need proper goalkeeper trainers. We need proper, physios and fitness trainers. All these things. If he is a proper techniques, a proper good coach, I think that he should emphasize on those things. But Naman Sembo Soto, he wouldn't decide anything, and it would be the same thing as what Paul has gone through. Yes, I understand, Gambia, we don't have money, we can't, um, 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 get a coach that will know Ninkoyo is a top coach. We always gonna get these, average coaches, which I understand, because sun kalpe bi fala tolu dola kalpe danta woldo na kalpe min no sun kalpe bi fum lu muna fe jël loolu lañ dee jël to loolu daf dee dañ dee struggle with it, because loolu da ngaa gis ne coach bi will be controlled. You know what I mean? But I don't, like you're saying, he's from this Africa and he struggles and all these things. I don't think he should be coming to us again and start struggling with, try to. I mean, we, like Ibi said, the bar is high. We need a coach that is properly, fully ready to just go and crack on, and then, understand it. We don't want to have a coach that will come and then face the same thing that Tom and these people are facing, were facing before. So I guess then he will change all that. If he's a good coach, let him bring likes of T-Boy and them, and maybe Edie. In fact, even if it is not Edie Boy, T-Boy, I just can't take it when Alaji Sar is the assistant, because for what? And what can he give? And what I'm gonna sort of come what? So that's my problem. If he is ready to work and change things around, let him change all that things like EB was listing down. Our technical staff, he needs to bring proper people and all this. So if this coach is a good coach, before even coming, I think that he should have done all his research, and then talk to T-Boy, talk to people, without even the federation. He should be talking to Gambians, people that he knows, because before even coming to Gambia, obviously I know he Googled Gambia, he only know about the weathers and our beach side and all these things. But the important part is he should know our players and our technical, our coaches and everything. I think if he's a better coach, he's already done that. And then if he's a better coach and he knows we have a Gambian, me along probably. No, if he's a good coach, I don't think I'm not allowed that. But like Ibi is saying, you know, he talks to people there and he knows they're gonna bring the same setup, the same thing they go through. Like I was saying, they balance Sandon another topic for another time. As long as Sandon is a technical director in there, we will always be afraid. It will always be like this.
Yeah.
But to be honest, no, not like that, boy.
Yeah. So, Coach, you know, I've listened to some of his interview, and he said he said identifying talents and, you know, is central to what he does, and, you know, developing them. You look at when he was in Sierra Leone, I think in 18 months he gave 14 international debuts. That's just in 18 months, 14 international debuts to different players. Is this a good omen for players, especially, you know, knowing Gambia has a large pool of players now playing abroad, especially these young players? Is it a good omen? Is it something good, giving out those debuts or giving everyone chance, or are we just going to stuck to the same pool of players?
I think combined factors why new coaches do things like that when they come to a national team or a football club is to get to know all the players that is available at their disposal, and they're trying to figure out. They already know the system they want to play, but they're trying to figure out the players that would fit in that system. So that's why most of the time, anywhere in world football, when a manager or coach comes in, they always like to try different players and see who will fit in the formation. Then the formation they want to play, if they don't have the players that would execute that formation to their perfection, then they will adjust to another formation that will suit the players that is available to them. So this is a main reason why most of the time coaches have to give a lot of debuts to players to see how they will perform, how they will adjust, and how they can cope with the atmosphere, how they can cope with the opposing team's tactical adjustments during games, you know, minute by minute and stuff like that. So it's not a bad thing, and I think he is going to have that opportunity because the World Cup qualifier rounds will be a perfect moment because Gambia, we are not blessed, like Baba earlier said. We don't have a money tree where we can invest heavily in football like many African countries are doing. Why many of the African countries that we used to beat to death. Sorry for that language, but yes, beat to death. Countries like the Guinea-Bissaus, the Cape Verde Island, you know, all these countries, the Niger, Mauritania, you know, I could easily go because countries like Ghana, they used to beat us, but not heavily. It's either 2-1 or 1-0 or 2, you know, like Senegal as well. It used to be very tough. They used to beat us, but it's very tough, and stuff like that. So it's still a problem because the problem is the coach alone cannot do this job. We had this kind of conversation here before. There must be a scouting network that will work with this coach. But before you even get to that level, they have to build this technical team for him. And that technical team, like I said to them, they need to speak to T-Boy and they need to speak to Idrissa Sonko. And not only speak with them, but they have to convince them to come and take up these jobs as number 1 and number 2 assistant coaches and prepare them for the future. Then they have to get a goalkeeper trainer who is qualified, because we struggle with this position in our national teams. We struggle with this position in our club teams in the Gambia. We struggle with this position outside the Gambia, Gambian goalkeepers playing abroad. We don't have the giants of Padembo anymore. You know, we don't have the agility of Saho, you know, Sangdong himself when he was playing, Wawan Denjai, who modernized Gambian football as a goalkeeper, being a goalkeeper and a sweeper at the same time back in the day. You know, we used to produce a lot of good goalkeepers, the George Lobas and stuff like that, you know. Baka, we used to have a goalkeeper called Tonso. Believe in me, one of the best. And there was a goalkeeper from Serekunda, Ibu Sise, I think. Yes, you know, he used to play for ball, and I think later on he passed away anyway, a long time ago. We are not blessed to have this kind of agility of goalkeepers anymore, but we need to have a very good goalkeeper trainer who can transform that department of the field. But if we are not prepared to get a good technical backup for the coach, I'm not saying he's not going to do well. I'm not going to sit here and say that. No, no, no. I'm not saying that. But it will be very difficult and a very, very challenging, more than the task he would have been expecting or bargaining for. And the sad side of it, they did not want to reveal the salary scale of the whole thing. All we know is the ministry will be paying the salary. The Gambia government took responsibility of paying that. From my inside knowledge, the wages will be between $15,000 and $20,000 for the first time ever. It will be, that's what they told me, between 15 and 20,000. How true that is, I cannot verify it, because they will never inform us what is the wages. Then the assistant coaches have to come in. But if they want to maintain the same assistant coaches, that means they are lowering the bar of the wages completely, because they want to save costs.
Yeah, that be a topic of its own. So Baba, now that he's already there, well, he's going to be unveiled very soon, this couple of days. What do you think the plan should be for him? Should he put all players on the same pedestal, or should he, just build and the team, from the experienced players, or maybe from your Yankuba Mintes or Omar Kodis or whosoever? Should he build a team from the experienced players that we got in the team, or should he just give everyone the same chance, start from zero, and then try to know his players?
I mean, for me personally, like, before I get there, what Ibi was saying, it's important when we have people like Ibi in England. Okay, scout the lads in England for me. Ibi will know the good players in England. If someone else is in Spain, a professional good football player or a coach, tell him to scout. So we have scouting all over. Then it would have been easier for this coach to just come and then crack on, because Ibi Balon, these are the good players that I recommend for him. Okay, so now that is not happening. So he has to go with this what he's known, because now for Tataje, during his arrival, they're gonna give him the old stuff that is there, because the new ones, probably he didn't know any of those players, or he did not know any of these players, because he just came in now. You understand? So it's gonna be hard for him to just get new players. Milalonko, he've never seen them playing football before. But for me personally, I think we should call our national team according to how the kids are playing football. Nowadays, every young lad wants to prove himself. If we got kids that are playing week in, week out, and they're performing, why not? Get them into the team. I'm not saying that the old players should go, because it's not right. You should have experienced players in between and then blend them. But I'm not saying you keep those old players. Some of them, they sit for 3 good months without a game. Some of them will play 15 minutes football. You call them in the national team, you call them in our national team. Some of them are without clubs. So, like Ibi is saying before, the standard is high. We're not gonna take all those nonsense. Sorry for my language. Players without a club, players without a team, players playing 15 minutes, players not even scoring goals. No, bro, we're not gonna do that anymore. So if he's gonna pick players, let him pick players that are playing week in, week out, players that are performing. If he leave himself with this federation, they're gonna dictate him, and they're gonna tell him which players to come, which players to bring, which players not to. So for me personally, I'm not saying the old players will all go, but blend them with these young lads. Encourage them to come and play for Gambia, because we have talent. We have a lot of young talents that are up now in all over Europe. We have young proper talents that are coming up. So encourage them to stay, because in future, some of these old players, they're not going to be there anymore. So the kids that are going to play later on in future, if you're not calling them to come to the national team, at Italabo, it's not going to happen here. So please let the coach start to put these youngsters and blend them with these other kids. It would have been an easy job if if we were doing the right thing from the beginning, if we were having an under 17 coach, an under 20 coach, under 23 coach, up to the senior level, they were all in line, it would have been very easy, because then you're under 17B, you already know how under 20 is playing. Under 20, you already know how under 23 is playing. Under 23, you already know how the senior team is playing. But we don't have a rapport. We even have an under 20 coach is not talking with the under 17 coach. The under 17 coach have never even talked to the senior national team coach. The senior national team coach is not even talking to the U23 coach. So everyone have your own style of football, and that is wrong. From grassroots, how we build the kids from grassroots to 17, from 17 to 20, 20, 23, 23 to senior level, it would have been easier, because you know what? You could have called any kid that is in Europe and he will come and have a Bokala straight, because you know the pattern when you were in U20 or U17. So it would have been easy access to just come and fit in. But now, if we have to bring all these kids to join, probably they wouldn't know how to play themselves. Because if we blend in all 10 old players and new 10 new young players, these people have not been playing together. Maybe they've never even played together. But if it would have been better if we have the U23 kids that were playing the U23 and they already knew what it's going to be like in the senior national team. Abakila no easy job. Like. Any coach can just come and just 2 weeks training, pump, you are there. But for now, I think then he should just pick any good player that is playing week in, week out, blend them with the senior team. I'm not saying the senior players that are not even playing there. The senior players that are playing, yes, call them, mix them with these new lads that are playing. And then that's it. Anyone that is not having game time, anyone that is not having a club, don't call him. No one owns that national team. The national team belongs to every Gambian. So it's not right for us to be picking players that are not playing, that are not having clubs, that are, at a Helajanak this time, to be honest. Tatala boy. Don't nonsense boy. No, what is enough, Emi? Totala boy. Players without a club, players playing 15 minutes, players sitting down for 3 good months. A player was sitting down for 3 good months without playing football. He's just going to the beach. I thought about that. I know call Mola national team motor boy. You think a national team is a Newetan team?
That's a joke.
So all those bullshit is not gonna happen, you know. With this coach, especially with this coach, the journalists in Nantaka Silde, during the signing or whatever, on Monday, they should sit with him and talk with him and ask him questions. Oh, we had a coach that was here before. He was picking players that are not playing, that are not even having clubs, that are not even playing game time, but they still call them in the national team. Are you going to be like that, coach? Are you going to be different? Are you going to be looking for players that are playing week in, week out, that are performing, and it doesn't matter how much games you are playing or how old are you, as long as you are performing and you're playing football, you need to be in the national team. Simple as that. But to call a national team because you were playing for the national team last 4 years, yes, we have to call you. What because more than one national team.
Yeah, coach. This would be our last question, to be honest. So obviously we've had experience with Tom when he was coaching the Gambia. He actually used to stay in Belgium and does everything from Belgium. This coach, obviously, I don't know whether you would remember, he was with the in Sierra Leone with the Ebola outbreak, and during the outbreak, he was actually working for Craig Bellamy, I think his foundation. And he was meant to he was offered the chance to leave the country, but he refused. He said he was not going to leave his players, so he was going to stay with them regardless of what the situation is. And from what we've gathered, he's always stayed in the country where he is, and work there, assimilate, work with the people, eat with the people, and then this thing. I think we had this with Paul Pot. Do you think that should be the thing that it should continue if we are to move forward? Especially, I know people would argue, okay, Tom might have been the most successful coach in Gambian history, but I think most Gambians would not forget what Paul Pot has done as well with limited resources. So would you think it's important that he stays in the Gambia and then, follow Gambian football, support the coaches, support the federation, and then maybe that way we could move football forward?
Yes, hand on heart, I genuinely believe that he will be staying in the Gambia because don't forget he take his first international job. What was it, 2013 in Sierra Leone, like you rightly said, yeah. Um, he was still young. Now he's 38. 2013 he was a lot younger. So there is no fear in a young person's mind, you know. So, and I think he built all that resilience being in Africa for too long now, even though he haven't stayed long in any coaching job where he have been, average 16 months, which is still fine. We know how it is like in coaching. But obviously that's his strength because he haven't played professional football just like me, just like Jose Mourinho or Arrigo Sacchi, Sir Alex Ferguson, limited professional football. You have to be a motivator. A former professional football player can don't need to even motivate their players sometimes. Their career will motivate the players they are coaching. But if you have never played professional football, you have to find a way of bringing your team together for you to have results. And that is always important for you to be attached to your players emotionally. Then you will understand them, they will understand you, then you can get the best out of them. And I think he learned, whoever have advised him or guided him when he was coming to Africa, that person have done a very good job with him because he learned from it. And every single country have been to, not only even Africa, but even in Bangladesh, he stayed with his players because that's the only way he could get the best out of them. And personally, I benefited from it. All the clubs and national teams I've worked with, staying, if you don't play, if you have never played professional football, you got the knowledge of the game. Staying close to your football players always helps you because you build a bond with them and they will be willing to die for you. And that's what this guy is doing. And I think he's going to do it. He's going to stay in the Gambia. Yeah.
Yeah, gentlemen, thank you very much. We just gone over 1 hour, and that was always the plan. It's been brilliant having you back. As usual, we're gonna have another session on Saturday. We just want to keep to the 1 hour. We don't want to be keeping people long on the stream. But thank you very much for your time, and thanks everyone who is watching.
Thank you for having us.